You're listening to OPIS Talks, where you'll be in on conversations with insiders in the energy, chemicals, and environmental commodities markets. Guests share insights into the latest trends and innovations, industry challenges, and much more. Let's dive into the conversations that explore where the energy economy is headed, right here on OPIS Talks.
My name is Denton Cinquegrana, and I'm the Chief Oil Analyst here at OPIS. And joining me today, as always, is my co-host, Brandon Gormley.
Thanks, Denton. My name is Brandon Gormley, and I'm the Executive Director of Retail Software Sales here at OPIS. Joining us today, we have Rich Lisauskas, Art King, and Paul Cobb from our sister company here at OPIS, Axxis. So Rich joins us today as President of Axxis, Art, the VP of Sales and Marketing, and the organization's newest team member, Paul Cobb, Senior Executive Business Development. So Rich, Art, Paul, welcome. It is great to see and hear familiar faces on this episode. Why don't you guys kick us off and tell us a little bit about yourselves and how Axxis got to be what it is today?
Yeah, we can go back quite a while. I think we go back to 1996. I'm going to take us back a bit. I was working at Price Waterhouse as a CPA, supporting venture-backed software companies. Left there for a Oracle-backed ERP, back office accounting software provider, Cedar, and that's where I met Art King. And it was great to meet Art. We had a successful stint at Cedar helping people optimize their back office. I left there for what became Axxis. At the time, it was a B2B company called FuelSpot that had acquired Axxis, and joined and pulled Art in as the CEO, and Art is the VP of Sales. And we've been here ever since, selling the company in 2005 to OPIS. Art, what do you say?
Yeah, thanks, Rich. I appreciate the introduction. And like Rich said, been in the industry for a while. I've been in the software space now for longer than I care to imagine, but it's been over 40 years now, the last 20 of which have been here at Axxis. And I think throughout my years, one of the things that's always been important, no matter what software I'm working with, whatever industry I'm in, is making sure that we've got applications that we can build solutions that help customers. And I think that's what enticed me to come here. I've worked with Rich before at an ERP company, as he mentioned. I also spent some time after that at a horizontal supply chain software provider. So this seemed like a perfect fit to come here, work again with Rich, work in the fuel space, but work on supply chain software. And I think what also I found enticing about this was the fact that the software that we have here at Axxis has always been scalable and modular, so that we didn't force customers to take pieces of software components they don't need. It allowed us to go and work with them, determine what their specific needs, and come up with a solution tailored to those specific needs, whether they're retailer, wholesaler, hauler, jobber, or any other participant in the fuel supply chain. So I'll turn it over to Paul. Introduce yourself.
All right. Thanks, Art. So Paul Cobb. I joined Axxis later in the year in 2024. Have a background in upstream, midstream, downstream, but especially downstream. Spent some time with Fuel Quest. Learned a lot. Learned about the challenges within the industry, and they continue to morph. But I really love what Axxis has and what OPIS has. Challenges that the consumers have and clients have, and being able to solve those.
Excellent, great. Yeah, I'm old enough to remember when OPIS acquired Axxis. So yeah, I was there at OPIS at the time, and I remember us being very excited to bring Axxis on board. So I want to start with kind of a lay of the land type question. And what does Axxis actually do? And how basically do you help your clients succeed?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I think Art and Paul touched on it a little bit, and it's about fuel supply chain management and really decision support. We're trying to help folks that are buying, selling, moving, reconciling, and analyzing their fuel purchases. We're trying to help them make better decisions more timely. And when we can, we want to pair it with our OPIS news and content and our OPIS data. And so it made a great marriage when, OPIS acquired us and invested in the software side. And we've really been customer-led development, working with the customer, our first starting point was really around what people would say is Best Buy, and trying to bring in those different rack prices from different suppliers at different times of the day. A lot has changed. Volatility obviously has changed. Pricing has changed. Swings have changed. And with our customers, we've changed. We've evolved. So that Best Buy, and we'll call it our core competency, data aggregation and normalization, we're going to normalize and standardize on an Axxis. What is a terminal? What is a product? What's the code you use for that? What about prompt pay terms? So we pull that information in and we let you very quickly compare apples to apples to say, what's my best sourcing decision today for this site, for this commercial account? And from there, it's really grown. Our customers wanted us to find an alternative to the other providers in the space, one of them being DTN. We work alongside DTN. They also had a fuel buyer or solution to bring in prices. They also brought in transactional data. So very quickly after being acquired by OPIS, our customers said, hey, we need to bring in fuel invoices, bill of ladings, freight invoices, transactional documents related to purchasing and selling fuel. So Axxis developed that solution. We work with our customers. And Art can tell you a little bit more about our pricing model there because it is different than DTN and some of the other folks. We give you a license model that says for every location you're in, we'll pull all that data in. We don't charge per transaction or per market. But it's really evolved from buying fuel to helping them sell. And I think that's a big differentiator. We've got a lot of folks that have their own retail sites, but they have wholesale divisions. And they wanted a way to say, hey, I've bought the product at X. I want to mark it up on a cost plus basis. Help me automate that process. Help me win new business, send out more quotes with less paper and less people. And so really our algorithms, our software helps them bring in what they purchased the product for and then how to sell it. And then from there, it's evolved. And I'll let Art and Paul with his experience from Fuel Quest, they dealt with this. They had some nice products. And so both of them can share a little bit more as the product evolved from there.
Yeah, I think to your point, Rich, it's a case where over time, we found that there have been some changes in the industry. And one of the things that has become more important is the integration of data, integration of systems to accomplish that automation of the integration. So going through and working with accounting software providers, providing more integration there, as well as you mentioned, a lot of people, because technology has changed, are now able to go directly out to suppliers' websites, emails, FTP sites, API connections, whatever it might be, and bring in data direct. And I think that's one of those things where there's a model out there by DTN that says, hey, we're going to go in and provide data to you, but we're going to charge you on a per transactional fee. That's not our model. So it allows us to sort of leverage that technology, go directly to those suppliers, pull the information over, and at the same time give our customers benefit by saving them 60, 70% off their bill by going through and grabbing that data and bringing it.
Yeah, that's an important distinction. We don't have ourselves a back office accounting solution today. We will integrate to PDI or a horizontal app like QuickBooks or SAP. Or ads or AIMS or IRLI, some of the products that are out there. But we really embrace funded development by the customer. While we offer shrink wrap software, customers will often come to us and say, hey, listen, you guys do a great job quoting. I'm sending out these quotes or more quotes than I have in the past. Customers are placing orders. Can you give us an order management platform? Can you help us then request from our common carrier or our internal fleet of drivers with dispatch? Can you help us place those orders or generate orders from inventory based on our burn rates or sales history? So that is where we have evolved. And so that we've put together a logistics platform, our fuel order management and dispatch. And so we're helping people know where those trucks are in relation to the terminals, know where their trucks are in relation to the sites. You can communicate in cab or to your third-party common carrier. With those transactions, whether you're sourcing fuel for your own sites or you're delivering to your commercial accounts, your wholesale accounts, you're going to generate, a freight invoice. You're going to generate a delivery ticket or a BOL. We're going to take those documents and match them together for you. So we're going to help you automate the reconciliation process. We're going to help you make sure that the price you were charged by your supplier is accurate. And as times evolved, when you were just buying off rack, a lot more people are using index or formula-based pricing. So they're going to want to know, hey, I've got a deal with supplier and it's based off of an OPIS benchmark and some differential. And I want to calculate that contract price every day versus my rack price. Or it's more complicated. It could be OPIS versus Platts in a formula. It could be that these four suppliers at a particular terminal have product and you don't want to include the other suppliers because you have allocations, they're going to have supply. So you take a basket approach and say, give me the average of that basket and let me build my price up. Or let me, use that as a benchmark myself, my internal benchmark. So we've developed a series of tools to help you, again, buy, sell, move, reconcile. And what's exciting in 2025, and I think we're all bracing for it, is leveraging AI, artificial intelligence, and taking another step further in terms of automation. I know Paul and Art both can talk to that.
I think that's really good points that Rich and Art brought up. And so, as Art was saying, we have the modular approach, we have the flexibility, so we can work with any accounting system, and you just don't have a one size fits all. So we have that flexibility. We help private and public companies, small to very large, Fortune 500 companies. So having that flexibility is really good, working with any back office system. But the thing that's common that I hear from clients is that what we do is we listen, and so to the point that Rich was making, we did the same thing at FuelQuest, and so some of your best ideas come from your clients and some of the challenges that they face. So with that, I'm just happy that we're able to help our clients save time and money, reduce the errors, and improve margins, because it's a really competitive landscape out there for wholesalers and for retailers.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's obviously getting more and more competitive out there. And Rich, it sounds like, as you build up those, and I'll use the Best Buy that you described earlier, but, comparing an index versus a rack price, the amount of components that have gone into that index over the years, not only do you have whether it's a Platts or Opus or Argus, you also have a RINs discount. Perhaps there's a line space charge. There's this, there's that. So obviously things have changed over the years, and Axxis is clearly, kind of customer driven on the changes. Can you cite some examples of how over the years, the product has changed through that kind of mechanism of the clients telling you guys what to do? I think you mentioned, kind of client supported development. Just kind of go through that a little bit.
That's a great point. And we welcome that. So let's say RINs came on the scene. We'll work with our customers to adapt the technology. So we'll gather requirements. We're going to listen to how the formulas work, how it impacts them, what they need to track, whether it's a volume discount, TVAs. Again, depending on what the client needs are, we're more than happy to enhance the product. It's definitely happened over the course of time. I mean, people were happy that they could compare contract versus rack. And then they wanted to know, listen, I need to know exactly on this contract, what have I lifted for volumes? So start to track volumes for me. Let me know if I have allocations. And so again, we work with the suppliers directly. We still work with DTN. We're happy to work with DTN where the customer is getting allocation information from their tab system. We're going to be able to compile that information. So not only do you know what the best sourcing choice is, but then hey, can I lift? Do I have product here available for me? So that's an example of evolution where we were looking at a, per gallon price, let's say, either on a contract basis or a rack basis, but then we had to factor in availability of product. Are there outages and tracking outages? Do I have an allocation? Can I lift? What about my customer side? Have I set up allocations with them and how many gallons I'm expecting them to purchase from me or their site if they're a dealer account? So the software will continue to evolve. I think, whether it's we have new products or supplier X buying supplier Y, they merge and there's a change there. We'll update the product for that. Right now, a lot is in the order management space. That's getting very exciting with, predictive forecasting and demand replenishment. So whether you have one-off events that you got to plan for a particular site, or you're just looking at, your burn rates, our software can help you with that. We can help you with the supply and contract management. So, do I need to look at who my supply choices are? The rich data from Opus in terms of, rack history, spot prices, we can really help you understand when you go to negotiate or your contract's coming up, do you have the right supply mix? Should I look at some other agreements?
I think a couple other, to your point, Rich, I think to extend on what you said, I think a couple other examples of how customers have helped drive evolution. We started off, as Rich said, on the Best Buy side, and we became very skilled at capturing pricing information, bringing it in, transforming it, becoming that data aggregator. And then we had customers reach out and say, okay, well, you do such a great job with prices. What about transactions? Why not bring in supplier BOLs, invoices, credit card memos, secret shopper reports, you name it? And so we took that existing platform and built it out to be able to bring in and transform that transactional data. And then, as Rich said, then came allocation. So that's one example that I think really sort of stands out, that helped really sort of, as an organization, give more value to customers by capturing and processing more of that data. The second case, what came on an area that people aren't as familiar with about us, is on the dispatch side. For many years we focused on giving people the pricing information they need to be able to source better, but we stayed out of the dispatch market because there were so many quote unquote providers of dispatch software out there. But what we found was that people were coming in and saying, yeah, that's great, but none of them, we're still going back to your Best Buy to figure out what the price is to do the dispatch. Can't you just put it all together for us? And that became sort of the impetus to say, okay, well, all right, there is definitely customer demand out there. This is something we can certainly do very easily because we've already got the pricing engine in place. So then we built that out, and that became the evolution of, as you talk about the buy sell, that became the evolution into the move market, where we started to do that processing of the logistics and doing the sourcing optimization to give them the right decision points to source a load.
Yeah, the decision points I think are really key. AI is definitely going to help, but more recently, we put some dashboards together with our customers for arbitrage opportunities. So I can see on a flashing map, to again eliminate some of the manual decision making. Where should I source today? Again, am I going to lift off a contract? Am I going to lift off a rack? Am I going to drive farther, pay a little bit more in freight, but get a better price per gallon? And so seeing that on screen, having it preemptively set up an order for you that, again, if it's in a certain standard deviation, could place the order. You can set up some of those rules. Really can help people with, again, better decision making, better margins. So saving money on purchasing or increasing your margin when you're selling. So we're excited about where the product's going. And again, it's customer based. We're not afraid to take on tailored development. There is a special formula for each, let's say, customer in terms of how they buy and sell, but there's a lot of similarities, and it's fun for us. We've been here so long, and some of it is because the folks in the space, they welcome the platform, and they're continually helping us evolve. And I think you find similarities in steering groups. We'll have referrals, and people come to us and say, "Hey, it works well for Joe. We want to bring the product in house for us."
Yeah, I mean, the evolution just sounds incredible. And as you said, like, there's been more and more pieces go on. The two things that, kind of caught my attention, Rich and Art, as you guys were describing some of the successes here, is one, the ability to say, hey, this market's cheaper than the market closest to me. I could go there, pay a little bit more in freight. I love that example. But also, the software sounds like it's invaluable. Like, you can't put a price tag on it, when there's some sort of, say, natural disaster. Obviously, Florida has been hit by a couple of hurricanes within the last couple of years. Anytime Colonial Pipeline has an issue, they had one in early 2025 in January. I would assume that you could say, hey, look, we can't pick up at this rack, but we have an allocation at another one, et cetera. That sounds pretty powerful, how that tool can work like that.
No, you got it exactly right. Volatility, this really helps smooth the volatility. and helps you in those situations when there are outages or disasters. There's no question. You combine that with Opus News, you combine that with the spot ticker on the Opus side, and you're really going to get some invaluable information.
I really do enjoy going to conferences, and of course, seeing you guys there is one of my favorite things at these conferences. But Art, I'm going to put you on the spot here a little bit, and I love seeing you in action with that laminated sheet that you bring with you for all the meetings. And for those listening, there's a downloadable PDF of that sheet in the show notes. But I wanted to ask, how did it come together? And are potential clients head spinning as much as mine is after you go through that?
That's a great question. Yeah, I mean, I think first off, consider it a conversation starter. I mean, it obviously is something that becomes memorable. But if you sort of take a step back, that's a two-sided sheet that we usually show. And the first side speaks to what Rich talked about, the 5 pillars. Let's put it at the 30,000 foot view level. Let's talk through buy, sell, move, reconcile, analyze. The slide that you're talking about, the detailed view, which goes and sort of shows the overall flow. There's so many nuances in this industry. There's so many differences between what customers do, whether you've got a retailer, you got a wholesaler, you got a jobber, you got somebody that's branded or unbranded, somebody that uses their own trucks or common carrier. The list can go on in terms of what they've got. They're using DTN or they're looking to get off of DTN. Again, everybody has different needs. So this design came about to really sort of show what's a day in the life look like in an organization. Let's take a look and see, they're pulling from these different suppliers. They're pulling from these benchmarks like an Opus, the data that they're bringing in. What do they do with it? Are they going through and just doing a straight, if they're branded, they don't really care about the Best Buy as much as somebody that's unbranded. So again, working them through this model to understand, where are their needs, and getting into a situation with that customer that it becomes a way to discover what specific solution will make sense to them, because the system is modular. And that allows us to go in and say, okay, if I've got somebody that's a retailer, I'm not going to focus on the sell side because they're not necessarily there. Some do have a separate delivered in business that they're using, but a lot of them aren't. So again, it allows us to make sure that we shape that solution to their specific needs. Because again, we're not looking to come in and necessarily throw out what they've got. We're looking to understand where they need to augment, supplement, or integrate better. So this tool allows us to really tell the story, both from our side, but also for them to tell their story to us. So we make sure that we've got, exactly what it is that they need. And the reality is that by going through this, again, you're making sure you're talking to the person that understands this, or they say, hey, you know what? I didn't know you could do something on the logistics side. Let me talk to my dispatch people. Let's see what they're doing there, because I know we're falling down in terms of being able to invoice customers fast. So maybe by automating this and integrating it in with your transactional side, the reconcile piece, now we're at a point where maybe we can close the gap on being able to send out realistic, correct customer invoices in a timely fashion. Or maybe we're having some problems with, going out and reconciling our supplier invoices. This could help with that. So again, I know it is a busy slide, and yes, there are some people that, you sort of gently nudge them into this. But the reality is, if you spend the time to walk them through this, at the end of the day, you don't know how many people have said to me, you know what? This is exactly how my business looks, and they can pick out, in the middle, a list of a whole bunch of different accounting systems we work with. Oh, yeah, we work with Cargus, we work with iRely. Again, it shows them that not only are we somebody that can be modular, but we're also somebody that can play well with others, and that we've got a lot of integrations in place. We've got almost 1,000 different scripts out there to go and capture data or interface data to different other partners, if you will, in the industry, including, in many cases, DTN is a partner. So we can work with DTN. We can help people, that are looking to downsize on the DTN side. We'll work with customers however they want to work. And this model helps explain that.
Yeah, and we definitely, as the product has grown, you're reaching other groups inside the customer base. So, where you might have started out with somebody who's on the sell side, again, building up quotes, their field reps selling the product or wanting to get quotes out more than, let's say, effective 6 p.m. or midnight. They're doing midday, multi-day price changes. They need to have that visibility to the quoting and ordering element. When you start getting into logistics, now you're talking the dispatch team and potentially drivers in cab. And so we do have a mobile app that came on the scene. And so now you've got, safety check with the mobile app. And what about sourcing? What about route optimization? So that came about. And I step back and I think about reconciliation and matching. Well, when we're capturing invoices, sure, you're going to help the accounting team. Why would I want to re-enter or re-key in, a fuel invoice or freight invoice into my accounting system when I can electronically capture it and bring it in? Start to match, though, and match not only your purchases to the BOLs, matching a BOL to invoicing. Again, it sounds like, hey, that's just two documents. What's the problem? But different formats, again, different terms or business standards, right? So we'll help you with the matching of that. And then we're also going to help you if you're then billing your customers. So we actually can create customer invoices and then pass that to the accounting system for receivables and payment matching. So you're getting into some more details, but you're, again, helping people automate a lot of these manual procedures and processes, saving them time and helping them redirect their workforce to more profitable, productive endeavors.
My question is, what are you guys working on now? What feedback have you recently gotten that you're excited about to make the product even better?
I think we're always working on new projects and enhancements, and they come from a couple of different fronts, both functionality and technology. From a technology perspective, we're currently doing, as Rich said, we're going through a process of doing modernization of the application. I'll talk a little bit more about that. It starts with the Axxis Analytics, Axxis Anywhere Analytics Dashboard Suite. It's powered by Microsoft Power BI. It works across the entire energy supply chain database. We've talked about pricing. We've talked about inventory. We've talked about allocations, contracts, things like that. Tying that all together to start doing some intelligent analysis to be able to identify opportunities. One of the ones in particular you mentioned, Denton, was the fact that, supply disruptions happen. Whether it's storm related, whether it's, a pipeline issue, whatever. So building a dashboard, for example, that goes in there and takes a look at pricing, takes a look at arbitrage opportunities, allows you to do a sliding scale to say, okay, now instead of looking 50 miles out, look 100 miles out, 150, 200, 300 miles out. Again, giving you that ability to expand beyond your normal comfort zone of looking and determine, are there opportunities out there where there is supply? So because we can tie in allocation information, not just the pricing, and taking a look at your sites. What's the inventory look like? What sites are in the most critical need? Where are they in relation to that particular terminal? So tying it all together. And there's other, tools in there, but that just sort of gives you an example of what we're doing with these dashboard suite to be able to capitalize on that information and give people the tools, not only to do predictive analysis, but also to take a look at opportunities to increase revenue, optimize profitability, and not take advantage of a situation, but manage that situation the best way possible for the organization. And as I mentioned, we're always monitoring new technologies. Funny story, if you talk about the fact that I've been in the industry so long, I was at a software company when they first introduced us to personal computers, when those were first coming out. And what that lesson taught me through the years is there's always going to be some significant shifts in technology out there. The key isn't necessarily to be on the bleeding edge of it. The key is to make sure that as you go through, you spend time understanding the technology. You don't make a change in technology for technology's sake. You make a change in technology when it's going to provide value to customers and to your organization. So one of the other things that has become important is taking the user interface, the user experience, and making it even more helpful and intuitive for customers to use. You want to still give them the capability to enter information quickly if they need to, but you also want to be able to give them the ability to quickly navigate through different scenarios based on different rules, what have you. So we're working on the front end there to be able to provide capabilities there, provide, as I mentioned before, integration has become more and more critical through the years, more dynamic integration using API connections. And I think one of the most exciting things we're working on right now is a centralized landing page to be able to make one spot for Axxis users to come in, to be able to navigate to specific functions within Axxis, to be able to pull up those dashboards, to be able to see reports, and not just on the Axxis side, but integrate in for customers that are Opus customers as well, being able to take then that one dashboard and look at Opus applications, maybe the Opus Spot Ticker, maybe Retail Price Pro, any other applications like that, and also pull in Opus News. So again, you're making the experience for the user easier because they go to one place to be able to do everything.
Yeah, I think that's a really important point, is that a software as a service, right now we've got these individual modules, but as the cloud-based or native cloud-based tool, you'll be able to permission the modals or the functionality that you need for your organization. So if you are an Opus Spot Ticker user, or you're a Pro Suite or Retail Price Pro customer, that'll be part of the menu structure. So easy to get to, as well as perhaps on the Dow Jones side, maybe your enterprise has a Wall Street Journal subscription, or you use Factiva. So why not? We have thousands of people, users who are licensed to use the product. Why not provide that one-stop shopping for the oil and gas industry right there for them? There are other options, obviously, inside of Opus that we can provide, but right now that modernization and homepage is the starting point. We've got a group of folks working on that, and then you're talking about bringing some of the legacy product, the price management application, the price right application, again, as a permission piece of functionality into that cloud. Our customers have been very patient with us. Again, we're pretty deliberate about our development resources, and they've been focused on the order management, the, again, invoice to collection cycle, the order to collection cycle. So they've been focused on that. And as Art said, the analytics and BI side. So we're very excited about next steps. Some of our biggest customers, we welcome to be part of a steering committee. We've been excited to participate and get their feedback at Sigma, at WPMA, and some of these events.
I guess the $1 million question is, do you have a time frame? When are we going to potentially start seeing iterations or versions or previews of this new suite?
On the technology side, I think you're going to see this come out in evolution. You're going to see some of it come out by mid-year, and some of it come out a little bit later on in the year, but you'll be seeing results this year.
Our team has definitely embraced the agile development methodology. So while we have a waterfall document of, we're not going to hold and wait for the whole thing, there's going to be iterations. So there's going to be functional slices. A homepage is a start. The dashboards will be part of that homepage. We're going to start to embed functions like Art mentioned, the 1,000+ capture scripts. So that capture rate is one of our modules. That'll be embedded as part of the setup or the admin. So as you're defining roles and permissions, you'll also set up your captures, and you'll define your sites and your site attributes. And so important to that is harmonizing, again, with the Opus Retail Suite. You've got sites there. You've got geolocations. You've got default suppliers, default carriers. Well, why don't we have some of that configuration and centralization done in one spot? Messaging notification is part of the retail suite. It's got to be part of Axxis. So you're notifying people, hey, we have an outage here. Hey, you've got an arbitrage opportunity. Drive farther. Or, hey, we've looked at the spot ticker and we're seeing the market moving higher. You probably want to lift today or load today versus waiting. So you'll see some of that notification, some of that enhancement rolled out over the next 12 to 18 months. And again, we're taking feedback from customers now. So if there is something more pressing or important, we can always look to reprioritize. AI is on the tip of everybody's tongue. We're welcoming anybody who's listening to the podcast. If you've got an AI idea or concept and you want to approach us, please come to us. Overall, the company's got a license agreement that we're exploring with OpenAI and ChatGPT, but we have other partnerships and other opportunities as well. So please feel free to reach out and vet with us. It could be something we could work on together.
Great. Paul, you're the new guy. So you just started within the last couple months. Can you share what your experience has been with both Rich, Art, and the product group at Axxis? And one, and two, what is your role going to be with these guys?
Before I joined the organization, it's just all the conversations and with different facets, whether it's product development and those that support our clients and things like that. Just the conversations just went naturally. They're really quality people. The industry knowledge is just second to none, And so I think as we go forward, like Rich was talking about, AI is the buzzword, and yes, we're going to be implementing that. But the thing is that you really have to have the industry knowledge to really train your algorithms and things like that to really take full advantage of the technology and the opportunity. And so that's the thing that I really love about the company is quality people, but then the deep industry knowledge and just service orientation and listening to clients. And like Rich was saying, yeah, hey, we could reprioritize depending on, some of our best ideas come from our clients. And so, but we do have the industry knowledge, as you guys were mentioning, in the downstream, not only wholesale, retail, chemical space, et cetera. And then with the parent company, I think we have the knowledge and we have the resources financially and technologically to really make a real dent in the market and really have a one-stop shop. So like Rich was talking about, just incorporating Wall Street Journal, Dow Jones, Factiva, the AI, Opus, and Axxis. It's going to be a really compelling story to tell.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So, guys, how can listeners reach out to you? I mean, if someone listened to the podcast today and said, "Wow, that sounds cool," or "Hey, maybe I want to learn a little bit more information about that," is what's the easiest way to sort of get a hold of you guys? Or are there some upcoming shows that you're going to be at where maybe people can say get on your radar and say, hey, can I get one of those one of 30 meetings that you'll probably have at WPMA or Sigma or wherever else you guys are going?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely go out there and meet with customers at shows. The key ones that are coming up, we've got WPMA in Vegas coming up in February. Rich, myself, and several members of the team will be there. In April seems to be a busy month as well. We're doing the MPAC show in Indy, the Upper Midwest Convenience Store show in St. Paul, and the Sigma Spring in Scottsdale. We'll be at NACS, we'll be at PCFS, we'll be at the Sigma Annual Conference in the fall, and many others throughout the year. But definitely, you don't have to wait for the shows to meet with us. You can give us a call direct, and we can provide that phone number if you like. We also you can reach us via email, reach us via the website. So definitely many different ways you can reach out to us. Don't necessarily wait to the trade show, but certainly happy to meet with you at the trade show as well.
Thanks, guys. This is about all the time we have today, but do want to give you guys one final question. Make it, just quick answer. Boom. Break out the crystal balls. We're seeing a lot of change. What do you see happening? Biggest changes over the next, say, 3 to 5 years?
Yeah, that's a great question, and I definitely think that there's a lot coming in the way of AI. We certainly have incorporated some of that into the system already with things like fuel optimization, price quote optimization, fuel inventory forecasting, et cetera. But I think you'll see more of that, route optimization, et cetera, to be incorporated. And then I just think that you can't lose sight of the fact that technology isn't the only thing that we need to focus on. We need to focus on the applications as well. We've done a lot of that. I think one of the things that we've seen a lot of over the last couple of years, and it's going to go forward, is a change in accounting systems. And with those changes in accounting systems, we've had to beef up our capabilities on the accounting side because there's many people that are saying, I don't want to stick with the traditional vendors. Yeah, we can certainly work with customers on PDI and iRely and the others, but maybe I want to go to a NetSuite. Maybe I want to go to a QuickBooks. Maybe I want to go to something that's non-industry specific. So we've built a lot like the fuel reconciliation module, the customer invoicing module, to be able to help customers that make the decision to go off industry with their accounting system. And I think we'll see more of that.
Yeah, I think volatility is here to stay. And so managing that volatility is huge. Yes, AI is going to be adopted. If it's not vocal AI talking to your computer, you know what I mean? You're going to certainly our algorithms are going to certainly present you with choices to make. And so we hope to automate more. More frequently, or I should say more recently, it seemed like a lot of requests on price book. Again, I've bought this lot of fuel, but I've already allocated to this customer, and tracking that price book, mark to market, what am I doing, and maximizing my return on that investment is going to become more and more important.
Yeah, in addition to what they said, I think that you're going to continue to see more M&A activity in the space. It's just natural. And I think, with the technology that we've developed, it can make that acquisition be a little bit easier to incorporate within the larger company.
And we continue to look at strategic complements as well. So hopefully we have, as well as our continued double-digit growth that we've experienced organically, we hope that strategically we can also add some IP, intellectual property, as well as some workforce and some customers from a competitor or a complement to our solutions.
Well, excellent. And we've run out of time, but Rich, Art, Paul, I want to thank you all for being here and joining us today. It's been great. I look forward to seeing you guys at the next event that we're all together at. I just want to thank everyone for listening to this episode of Opus Talks, and we'll talk to you next time. Thank you.
We hope you've enjoyed today's insider conversation on Opus Talks. Join us next time for a deep dive into another industry insider's world. You can find more Opus Talks episodes at opusnet.com/podcasts or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts.